Hello, everybody. It's Friday, and you know what that means. It's time for a freshly haircutted, is that a word? Moohead Radio Show. I'm your host, a big and furry bovine. You probably don't recognize me because my fur has been clipped, showing more of my gray hairs as I get older. And you know something? Wait till you see me by week 17 of the NFL season and about halfway through the Cleveland Cavaliers season. You won't recognize me at all.
He'll be going with the Mr. Clean look.
Yeah.
Ripping out all of his hair.
Joining me in this fiasco of a program are my panelists. Madonna Piranha. Brian, the right winger. Rick, the Indians fan still searching for something to do during the offseason. And overall great guy, Jake, who is the most polite person on the show. And then there's me, the least polite person on the show. Today we're going to be talking about the Browns. Hey, D-Bag, how you doing, buddy? We're going to be talking about a little pregame analysis of the Cleveland Browns and the New England Patriots. I can tell you that this ain't going to be pretty this week. All the comments for I really liked, we'll talk about Jarvis Landry in just a minute, but his comment when they asked him about the team, and he said, they got some scrappy guys in their secondary that grab and hold a lot and seemingly never get called for it. We're going into this game with an attitude that I think the league has fostered, that the league wants, and it's going to be really, really difficult. We start out the program, as we always do, with my main man, Freddie Kitchens. We had a good week of preparation, H. No.
We didn't feel a thing.
God, it's like, had a little itch there, and we have to continue to prepare. It is mental from this point on. We will go to New England and put our best foot forward.
And that's when the flag will come down for offsides.
And Demarius Randall said, no, you're going to New England. I'm not. On whether defensive end Myles Garrett was a full participant in practice after a knee issue flared up yesterday, I never had a doubt. You just have to put things on there when they're getting treatment and stuff like that. That's the reason he's on there. He'll be ready to go. And we find out that his knee's been bothering him for weeks. We never heard that before. It's amazing. A guy like Rashard Higgins has no injury and doesn't play, and we never even knew that Myles Garrett was hurt. On safety, Jermaine Whitehead stepping into the rotation now that Demarius Randall is out. Basically, Freddie said, yeah, exactly. Exactly. Jermaine Whitehead, please. Please, cod, almighty fish of the sea. I don't want to think about this. He goes, I think Jermaine's done a great job of making sure everyone's on the same page, except Jermaine. He's kind of the quarterback back there. Kind of like Sam Darnold. He sees ghosts. He has played well, defended the ball well, and tackled well, and given up a bunch of touchdowns in the plays that he's been on the field. And if Rashard Higgins is full go and ready to be incorporated into the offense, yes, he is, if he's active. If you would like to reveal the Browns' starting offensive line, no, I do not. How he likes the Browns' offensive line in practice this week. Yeah, I like how those guys have practiced all week. Meanwhile, in another room, Greg Robinson is saying, I've been benched. Da, 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 da. The coach is on one end saying, no, we're not giving you any information. And Greg Robinson is like, yep, I'm not starting anymore. It's like, way to go. That's really going to help you with your team. Your employer's really gonna love your fat ass and non-moving, feet in shackles guy. You suck. On the Patriots, Danny Shelton. He does a good job of holding the point. He plays with aggression. He eats with aggression, too. In fact, I watched him mow down 6 Pizza Hut large deep dish pizzas. Got to be nice to Danny Shelton, for God's sakes. Remember what he was like in Cleveland. Certainly Golden Corral remembers. Not to mention the Chinese buffets in town. Not him again! Not him again!
You've been here for an hour. You go home now.
Exactly.
You scare my wife. You eat a vegetable. You've been here for an hour.
And if the Browns have an opportunity to exploit the Patriots' run defense, I think they do a good job of taking away your strength, whatever they view your strength as. And if you would like, yeah. I mean, if we would like to guarantee a win against the Patriots, and then he stood up and said, that is not what Jarvis Landry said. Jarvis Landry said that we are going there to win. He didn't say we are going to win, but it doesn't matter because now the entire world is against the Browns. Like I told you, it was a real possibility getting off to a slow start that everyone's jumped on the other bandwagon. And now, even if we don't give locker room fodder, the press will do it for the Browns, which is really lovely. And then the press said, well, then is it being unfair to lump the entire media corps together? And Freddie backed down and said, good point then, I just did it though. And then he looked at Mary Kay Cabbagehead and said, biatch. I don't know what that was all about.
He did one thing right this year.
Yeah,
Brown's Therapy had a funny meme with Mary Kay. She was on a bike. He put her on. It was some little video of a bicyclist, a female bicyclist, plowing into the side of a parked car and flying over the hood. It was quite funny.
That's something I'd like to see myself. Next, now that we've gotten through that whole nonsense, and the fact that Myles Garrett was added to the Browns injury report, then taken off the injury report, so that became a non-story after Freddie talked, we have Demarius Randall. Now I want to ask something of my brilliant, esteemed panel. Wasn't the whole plan in preseason to avoid injury? Why are we getting soft tissue injuries out the AWE? Jake, what does that tell you?
Either they practice too much in pads or not enough. I mean, it's one of those things you have to find a balance as a coach. How much do you want to put your guys in full contact with the weight of the pads on? And I think Freddie, well, if he has another year, would change things if he could.
Well, who is changing all of this shit? I didn't do that. What are you doing, Madonna Piranha? You have a really guilty look on your face. What are you controlling? And, oh, that's not right.
She's taking over the Enterprise.
That ain't no acer in front of you, is it?
I'm running amok.
Uh-oh. She's changed her name, I see, too. She's changed her name.
What is my name?
Look at her
Now,
name.
Facebook Live as well as YouTube. That is actually your name.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit.
That is wrong. What you've done is wrong on so many levels. I don't even have time to explain because explaining would only get me in deeper than what I'm already in.
I will log out of here. Somebody else come take my place. Come on, Steven.
Well, how am I going to get my privileges back?
Do you not have your privileges?
Well, I mean, the fact that you were controlling things, yeah, I guess I still do.
Yeah.
I know that you can stay on there. Just don't fuck around with it. Button pusher. What can I? Exactly.
You know, who
That's
remembers
funny,
all
D-Bag.
about techno?
You know, this is probably Brian's greatest singular fear. That the finger on the button would be black. Okay, thank you. 12 minutes past the hour of 6 o'clock. I'm having fun.
Lighten up, Francis.
Exactly. Good for you. Good for
I told you were going to get pelted with that.
Rox is being Moohead for Halloween. Yeah.
I'm surprised she didn't make it Mrs. Moohead
But
and really fuck with people.
Moohead is being the Madonna Piranha for Halloween.
oh, God. So at any rate, Demarius Randall out. Well, so what does it tell you, Rick, regarding these? We're getting a run of soft tissue injuries.
It's like we're postponing the inevitable. You know, instead of getting them during the training, we're getting them now during the middle of the season when we, you know, least we don't want them at this time, but it just seems like they can't find a common ground for training. Either went too far, they didn't go far enough. So that's just one more adjustment that's going to have to be made, but they're going to have to be made next year now. So we'll muddle through probably as best we can, and we'll just keep our eye on those injury reports week after week.
Yeah, but Randall is just coming back from another injury, right?
Well, I mean, that's the thing that really isn't clear about all this. I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind is the reason that we get all the soft tissue injuries in preseason is that the players are not physically prepared for preseason. They're not stretched out. And then they go at it. And, you know, as anyone will tell you, who's even a weekend warrior, like I was when I was playing tennis, you can easily hurt yourself if you don't stretch and get yourself, you know, really limbered up. And I'm just wondering, we've been playing catch up. It seems like from the first week of the season when we got blown out by a football team that hasn't turned out to be very good, that we just weren't ready for the season on any level. It's kind of what it tells me. And you know, and I don't know. Now all of a sudden we kick it up into a higher gear, and you know our entire secondary has gone down basically with soft tissue injuries, and that is probably the most explosive position, you know, defensively, is when you have to keep up with fast receivers who are cutting and you have to change directions a lot. It would make sense, but if you're not really prepared that way physically, that's an easy way, very easy way to end up with a soft tissue injury. So that's what it tells me, just not ready in another way. And we were not ready for this season on a gazillion different levels. I mean, the offense wasn't ready. We didn't get the offense ready in the preseason. I don't know what the whole thing was about when our alleged backup quarterback was injured, and we probably had no intention of playing Drew Stanton at all. What the point was to not letting Baker Mayfield get some chemistry with his players. All of it looks really kind of shabby now. It isn't like Gilbert Gottfried got his reps out there. I mean, you know, Drew Stanton was hogging reps when the team knew that he had a lingering knee injury and was not going to be a factor. And I think that's, you know, what is it? What do you always say, Rox, about bullshit?
That's some old bullshit right there.
There you go. I think
And if it's about Myles Garrett, do we really know about all the injuries? Or are there some they're just not telling us at all? And maybe, you know, we're just seeing the tip of the iceberg or something.
That's the thing. When I found out that for weeks his knee has been bothering him, I'm just waiting for he's got to go under the knife for meniscus surgery. I'm just waiting for that to come up. And it's
Well, it
injury.
hasn't stopped him from jumping off sides 2 to 3 times a fucking game, though.
Yeah, it's probably because he feels
Amazingly.
he's a step slow. He also hasn't been pressuring the quarterback for shit.
Yeah.
D-Bag is talking about soft tissue injuries. I use Charmin and I still have them.
Darn paper cuts.
Yeah, no, there's nothing worse than wiping your ass in blood,
That's
It's
a
a
little
bad thing.
disconcerting there. Yeah.
It is disconcerting, and it's like, and then, what choice do you have? You got to start picking at it. Then you get a scab in your asshole. But we won't talk about that right now. Next, Greg Robinson says he's been replaced at left tackle. Greg, you could never be replaced. He wouldn't say who's replacing him, referring to him as, quote, that cocksucker, unquote. But it could be Justin McCray. But there's no official word from the team yet because they're trying to surprise Bill Belichick.
Ooh. He'll be up all night on that one.
Goodness gracious. Yeah, we're keeping it all to ourselves. And then Greg Robinson will go out and play, and Bill Belichick's still not going to be worried because the Browns can't field 4 good offensive linemen anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Coach Freddie Kitchens, of course, saying if he does make a change, it will be to improve the performance of the offensive line. Just like not playing.
What was he going to say?
Yeah, well, no. Just like not playing Rashard Higgins made the wide receiver core better, Lovely. Meanwhile, Jarvis Landry is saying Belichick's amazing, but I wouldn't say anybody's a genius. Well, you know something? There are such things as geniuses. Jarvis, and just shut up and play. Just shut up and play,
You've got as many touchdowns this year as all of us, and that's not good.
And here's the other thing. When a player plays for himself, it's one thing. That would be OBJ. When a player plays for his team, that would be like Nick Chubb. It shows. And then when a guy plays his first game with the Brooklyn Nets and scores 50 in a losing effort, it's Kyrie Irving. Look at me, I'm Sandra D. Kyrie fucking Irving. Guy who never made anybody around him look better, who made one big shot for the Cleveland Cavaliers in our great run to a championship that was 99% LeBron James. And he found his way to New York just so he can be big man on campus in big cities so he can make Uncle Drew 213, the 212th sequel. 50 points in a losing effort. Maybe if he passed a few more times, who the hell knows? And then this. Are you ready for this, panel?
Bring it on.
I'm not sure. Steve Wilkes says Jannard Avery will make a major impact if he's active. I'm not making this up. What the fuck? Then why talk about him? Belichick's sitting there saying thank you. That guy's on my radar. What the fuck?
See, when Belichick messes with the player, he just cuts them or trades them.
Yeah.
The Browns play with them first, and then get rid of them after the year.
Gordon, gone. Bennett, gone.
Here's the story. Browns edge rusher Jannard Avery has been a healthy scratch for 5 games, but defensive coordinator Steve Wilkes said he could play a key role if activated. Jannard brings a great skill set, Wilkes said. He has tremendous speed off the edge. He has ability to get to the quarterback and affect the game in a positive way. We'll see exactly what happens this week and who's up. I'm sure if he is, he will make a major impact on the game. Now, let's go ahead and do Mr. Moohead's famous closed captioning. Gennard brings us a great skill set, Wilk said. He has tremendous speed off the edge, and he has the ability to get to the quarterback, unlike the rest of these high-paid jagoffs that we're paying millions of dollars to stand there and get pushed backward at the line of scrimmage. In case you didn't notice, Wilkes went on to say, we're giving up 160, 150 yards rushing per game. And we're not getting to the quarterback as well. We'll see exactly what happens this week and who's up. And I'm sure Freddie will fuck it up somehow because he always does. Oh, and by the way, if you really think that you're going to beat the Patriots by getting to Tom Brady, Wilkes dismissed the notion that Avery doesn't fit in that 4-2-5 alignment. It's not so much that, Wilkes said. I know there's a lot of speculation out there, but when you look at the big picture, when you talk about 53 guys, if you guys really want to try to help us out, you can petition to the league. I don't know if it'll work, to where you may get all 53 guys up on game day. When you look at the big picture, sometimes it equates to special teams. Now my closed captioning begins. I'd rather have a guy on the field in special teams for 6 plays in a game than have a guy who can actually get to the quarterback and make big plays. You know, when we look at the big picture, we eliminate all pressure on the quarterback, and we just hope to get a guy in there who prevents somebody from taking it to the house when we give up the rest of our touchdowns on defense. Then he goes back to say, who's going to help out more on special teams? Certainly not Gennard Avery, because he's only good at getting to the quarterback. Somebody has to explain this to me like I'm a 6-year-old. What is wrong with this group of people? Jake, why Gennard Avery now? Why is this name coming up now?
I have no idea. I don't think anybody knows except inside that locker room at this point.
No, I don't even think the locker room knows why.
This makes no sense. Yeah.
And why is Wilkes talking about it?
Why is Dorsey letting it happen?
That's what I don't get.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got Greg Robinson who's usurping the coach by saying, yep, I've been benched. And then you've got the defensive coordinator saying, hey, if this guy's active, he's going to make an impact in this game, but I can't say if he's going to be active because that's not my say.
Well, in Greg's defense, what's the worst they can do? Cut him? He only signed a 1-year deal.
Why are you suddenly muffled?
I have no idea.
Yeah, that's a little better.
Yeah, that's a little better. Yeah, take your. Okay. Yeah, but I mean, you're absolutely right, Brian. No, you're absolutely right. None of this makes any sense. And if you think you're going to go in on foreign soil against the Patriots and beat the New England Patriots, when your team is so non-cohesive, you got another thing coming. I mean, that's just not going to happen. Every week, it shows that the players and the coaches and the coaches and the coaches aren't on the same page. I wish we'd have been on Hard Knocks again. I'm not going to say it, Rox. Hard Knocks.
That's probably a good thing. Restrain yourself.
But then there's Fort Cox, and that's where all the treasures are located. For you.
All the cock rings and whatnot.
I didn't hear that. Did you? What the fuck?
Well, that was a decided turn.
Well, I mean, you know.
Boy,
Well, they melted those down for other weapons.
Madonna Piranha just literally got the archive views up to 200 for this show. Just with one word, cock ring. You know, that's 2 words. Or is it 1 word? Cockroach is 1 word. Cock
Half
ring,
our
I guess.
subscribers are now Googling that.
My God. You know, I went to Jared. They wouldn't sell me one of those. It's like, Can I
He was-
try it on?
He was probably too busy eating a Subway sandwich.
Oh,
shit.
we're really getting clever now.
Wow. Boy.
It turns
Well,
out
I don't have a cock ring, but can I interest you in some child porn?
See,
That's
I
what I was
wasn't gonna go there.
I mean,
I was going to say
meal.
that Jared ended up putting his meat in kind of an uncooked bun, but it's
Yeah, it's like,
it's like no.
you want the 6-inch or the 12-inch? Let's
Yeah,
talk
exactly.
about this.
Well, Rick, Jared does prefer kids' meals. He does.
Oh.
Did you want everything on that?
So much for self-restraint. Sheesh.
Oh, now Ron Shane is saying that Baker is actually the viewership went down. Thanks, Rox. I heard the other day that's our favorite game. What's our favorite game, Rox?
I don't know.
Blame.
The Negro.
There you go. Yes. Blame the Negro. Yeah. And this would be perfect for a game show thing like Hollywood Squares because the upper right, that's where Rox is. That's where the blame automatically goes up in that direction. Yeah, he's saying that Baker licks his right fingers when he comes out of the huddle and passes. Most time, no licks of the hands means the ball is being handed off.
Hmm.
So, I'm not going to say what Rox licking her fingers means.
And just as well.
Just as well. Because it would have ended up, as you know, not sexual, but racist. All right. And we can't have that. Well, we could, but it's my show, but we're not. Here's a headline. A little confidence is a good thing as the Browns head to New England. But where is it?
What, the confidence about? A little
Yes.
confidence?
I mean, somebody once said to me, I remember, when I was in college,
Oh,
they said, I found Jesus. Oh, I see. There's Stephen. Is that Stephen? It is Stephen. We'll put him in there, too. Hi, Stephen. And somebody said, I found Jesus. And I said, God damn it, you are so lucky. I have been looking all over for him, I said, I bet you found him in your walk-in closet because, it's always the most obvious place, that you.
Hey, I got to hit Steven with something. Hey, Steven, when is that going to be spelled in Chinese?
I don't know, but James Harden shot us out of the building last night and we lost, so I just thought I'd gloat about it.
I can't believe it's NBA season. I just can't really.
Hey, Mr. Moohead, you know what was fun? The Rockets were up by 19. I had a chance to go to the game. Not only did we blow a 19-point lead, Giannis Antetokounmpo fouled out with 5 minutes, and a guy by the name of George Hill and a guy by the name of Chris Middleton decided to take the game over and beat the Rockets.
Well, if you think they blew it, you better get over to Brittany's house real quick because her husband's coming back in November. So, just another.
well, this is the first time in Westbrook's career that a fourth quarter lead was blown and he was not blamed.
Yeah, not me. No.
Not this time.
Yeah.
Thing is, Giannis fouled out and they still couldn't gain any ground.
Well, I mean, but a little confidence for the Browns is kind of like finding Jesus. I don't know where it is or where he is or where the confidence is because it's not really in anything that the players have shown on the field are saying. It's not anything that the coaches are saying about one another or the players are dealing with the coaches. That I don't see, to me, confidence is like the cardiac kids, That was confident football team. They didn't brag about it. They just got down to under 2 minutes and won the fucking game because they knew that they were going to come back and win until they played the Raiders, and then they knew. Red right, 88. And then they knew that, yeah. But other than that, confidence is quiet. I mean, I'm sure the New England Patriots are confident as hell, and they should be because they have, 15 men on the field at one time. And that doesn't include the people in the replay centers back in New York. But
Hey.
still, yeah.
Mr. Moohead, is Josh Gordon playing this weekend?
No. Josh Gordon is released by the Patriots. He's gone. He's gone. Yeah, I mean, if you didn't hear the news about the Josh Gordon, he's no longer a Patriot, and he's looking forward though to playing for another team this year because he says that the injury that was keeping him out, and he was basically designated to the IR, but he's saying, "Oh, I'm actually healthy enough to play," which makes me believe that he's not sober. Okay, the New England Patriots wouldn't just give up on the guy. I'm positive that he's fucked up again. So fuck Josh Gordon and every team in the NFL. Just ignore this guy and let him go away.
Yeah,
please.
fuck Josh Gordon.
Jerry Jones sounding right there. Jerry Jones
found out
sounding.
the game was at 4:20.
Yeah, 425, but a good joke nonetheless.
Well, 5 minutes to put it out,
So they signed Mohamed Sanu. That was probably to replace Josh Gordon.
Right.
Yes, that's
They got
exactly
rid of
right.
Bennett, too, and traded him to the Cowboys.
So then who else do they got to help? They can't expect Mohamed Sanu and Ben Watson to do everything, or the Michelle guy. Who else do they got?
Edelman.
They'll throw it to him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't. I look at a story like Josh Gordon and all the people who want an opportunity, and I just have no.
Mr. Moohead, if the New England Patriots cut you, that's like basically the last place to go to when you're in trouble. If you don't get it there, no one else is going to sign you.
Take the last train to Clarksville. I'll be waiting at the station. Yeah, I mean, it's if the Lords of Discipline couldn't get the most out of that player, that's the same way I felt about Barkevius Mingo. When the Patriots didn't resign him, it was like, okay, we did the right thing with Mingo. It's like
We actually had the right idea.
unsalvageable, right? And that's basically what it's telling me. If the Lords of Discipline and the people who got him reinstated, if you remember, they got him reinstated this year when he should never have been reinstated that early. They get everything through the league. They're done with him. Everyone's done with him. That's the end of that. So,
and Nikhil Harry, I guess, is coming back according to Jay Morgan.
What?
yeah, you're muffled again.
Yeah, he muffled that.
Try to adjust your headphones.
Hello?
Do I need to speak at a louder volume?
No, you just have to speak more intelligibly and clearly. You're getting a muffling for some reason, but not all the time. When you're spewing your propaganda, it's muffled. But when you're making a good, valid point, it's crystal clear. No, I'm kidding. No, you're twice during the show, it's muffled out. But I am going to report this because we had a problem with some audio in previous programs. So I'm going to report this to the people at StreamYard because it's nothing you're doing, Brian. I don't know why your sound would suddenly become more muffled. That doesn't make much sense to me.
Okay. But yeah, I was talking about Nikhil Harry from ASU that
right
is coming off of the injury.
Yeah, so I see no sign of confidence in the Cleveland Browns coming into this football game. And then now we're saying that defensive back Eric Murray, because he had AFC title game experience, against Tom Brady, don't even talk, young man. You're going to get picked on, and it's not going to be pretty,
And we should roast that guy for just coming out with that article.
I know. It's like, don't tempt fate. But
the Browns already complained about officiating. Let's just think about that. They already complained about officiating. So that's how
confident. Let it go.
No.
Man, imagine if Josh Gordon and Antonio Brown were on the same page and they were on New England. That'd be like Randy Moss and T.O. on the same field.
So, I would be remiss if I didn't go over one thing here because there are some things that I truly feel great for athletes about. Like a good example would be Matthew Dellavedova. I felt great when Delly got that $40 million deal that the Bucks never really lived up to, and he ended up finding his way back to Cleveland, but they still owed him the money. You know, it's kind of like going to Wendy's and they fuck up your order and they give you one of those chicken sandwiches that looks like it was run over by a fucking tractor. But wouldn't it be nice if they just, you know, gave you like 3 sandwiches to replace that and gave you your money back?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the kind of deal Delly got, right? I mean, $40 million, and he could have given 3/4 of it to LeBron because that's why he got the deal. But you know, there's something great to be said about a guy who may not be the most talented, but is such a driven and hardworking guy. And you know that $40 million is going to last that little badger for the rest of his life because it's a good deal for him. Well, now the Cleveland Cavaliers, in their infinite wisdom, have given $30.8 million to the Jetty Osman. This is a guy who can't dribble the basketball. He is a bigger turnover machine than the Pepperidge Farm Corporation. I mean, this guy puts the ball on the floor, it's as good as pickpocketed. He would be a victim in the musical Oliver of the Artful Dodger. This guy couldn't hold on to a ball if he was masturbating. $30.8 million. I mean, how can I even be more clear about this? Somebody with a closed head injury dribbles better than he does. I'm sorry if any of your relatives have closed head injuries. I'm sorry. But it seemed like the thing to say at the time, and this is live. He's going to make $8.75 million in the 2021 season, $8.05 million in 21-22, $7.35 million in 22-23. The fourth non-guaranteed year doesn't matter because it's the end of the world as we know it.
No, it's the end of the world.
Oh, God.
And Mr. Mood, not to switch gears, did you see that Trae Young guy last night? Man, that guy had 38 points strong for the Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah, he's the new Curry, you know. So
And look how Golden State looks without Thompson and KD in our lineup. They look
I was going to mention that in my next Cleveland Cavaliers story. It's a good illustration, so hold your thought there.
Yeah, okay.
Because it's a very valid point. If you're wondering about Jetty, he averaged 13 points. He only shot 42% from the field and 34% from three-point range, and that's $30.8 million. And that will tell you everything you really need to know. For example, it will tell you why the Cleveland Cavaliers are not going anywhere very soon. On the same page, and this is where your story becomes significant, Stephen, the Cleveland Cavaliers need to get Kevin Love more touches, and they know it. Well, let me tell you something. Kevin Love is a wonderful basketball player, but he moves like a United van line. He's a guy who gets the rebound, throws the outlet pass. If you're waiting for him to shake his defender, you might as well be just shaking your dick after taking a piss. It's going to take a while. The guy is not set up unless he sits in the post. And as long as Tristan Thompson is on the floor with him, there's going to be too much coagulation, and I keep going through this every single year, and he's never going to get post touches because Tristan can't do anything outside of 2 feet of the basket. And they have 19-year-old people who don't know how to get the ball to him because they don't know the right passing angles into the post and would rather jack up shots from 25 feet. So young players will hurt you. That's the first part of the story.
Yeah.
Here's the next part of the story. Before we get to your part of the story, Stephen, there's a headline that says Anthony Davis has to start hitting his jump shots. And they started showing in his first game that he was 8 for 21 from the floor, right?
Yeah.
But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them were within the free throw line. Only one was outside, and the rest of his shots, the other 13 were, or I should say 11 of them were clanks from the perimeter. And the reason they're saying he has to hit his outside shot is the reason that because LeBron James gives you open shots. It's the reason why Kevin Love could score points before when he was with the Cavaliers, because LeBron took 4 eyes following him wherever he went, and he'd find that corner three. Well, there ain't none of that no more. They don't have to double team nobody on the Cavaliers. So, you know, Anthony Davis is under pressure because LeBron will give him open shots and he has to make them, and Kevin Love will not find any open shots. And now, Stephen, talk to me. What in the hell happened?
Golden State was down by like 35 points in the third quarter with like 6 minutes, and they do not look like the same Warriors. That 3-point ball team moving around, nobody can keep up with them. They look exposed. And to tell you the truth, I hate to say this, but Curry even looked exposed too. Like, is he just really good because he's got Thompson beside him?
Yep.
If you take all those variables out, Curry is nothing more than his father, Del Curry, who just sits in the corner and waits for the ball.
You know, well, he handles the ball better than Dell did. But I mean,
Yeah.
here's the deal. I mean, when you have so many weapons like KD and Klay Thompson and all these guys around you, it's different. Steve Kerr after the game, did you hear what he said?
Yeah.
No.
All hail China.
This isn't a one-off. This is the reality.
This is not a one-off. This is the reality. You've got to play through it. You got to keep fighting and keep getting better. Boy, how things change. There's going to be nights like this year, he went on to say. It doesn't feel very good. Losing stinks. It's no fun. This is more the reality of the NBA. The last 5 years, we've been living in a world that really isn't supposed to exist. 5 years of, if I remember, the best record anybody's ever had over 5 years. So this is reality. 9 guys, 23 or younger, and we're starting over in many respects. Just like that.
Mr. Moohead, even Draymond Green looks like a ghost. Remember, you said last year you put him on any other team, nobody would know who he is. That guy looks invisible. He looks like J.R. Smith.
They should have. He was always a bricklayer, and he could never shoot. And you know what the thing is? It's one thing to have Charles Oakley, you know, when you got Michael Jordan, right? But it's another thing if you expect Charles Oakley to jack him up from 18, 23 feet, you know?
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. So, Draymond after the game, we fucking sucked. That was his quote.
I think this year Steve Kerr is actually going to have to sit down and coach.
It's a lot harder when expectations exceed what you got on the floor. And you know you're going to see how quickly invincibility just evaporates.
Mr. Moohead, I watched some of that game. D'Angelo Russell and Seth Curry, they're supposed to be like the second version of Thompson, and D'Angelo Russell can't even get open half the time. Like he had 20 points, but he took like 30 shots to get it. It was terrible.
He's been nothing his whole career. I mean, you know,
It was the Trash Brothers. It's got the Trash Brothers, the Trash Brothers.
And thank you, Jake. You're absolutely right. Curry is now 32. The calendar flips real quick in basketball. And, you know, fortunes change so damn quickly. Did I ever?
Yeah, the mileage is going to catch up to him faster than it did on LeBron.
Well, he's a smaller man getting bumped around. And what's going to happen this year is they're going to be able to get more physical with him, and he ain't going to get the call.
Did you see the Clippers getting physical with him last night? They were actually pushing that little midget around, and he had no answer for it.
And the whistles were swallowed. You see,
They were definitely swallowed.
yeah. I mean, invincibility is just gone with the wind.
Yeah, that rookie man was bouncing him around, and then Curry would get up like this, saw him twice. He's like,
Oh, I could imagine Beverly talking the whole game.
Oh, jeez.
I guess what
I cannot imagine what he said.
Kawaki saying the Clippers may have the best defense in the West.
oh, they look good all around. Even the rookies they got look good.
Yeah.
They don't even have Paul George yet. Wait till he gets back.
Yeah, Paul George and Kawhi is going to be a nasty defensive.
Yeah, and again, in the opener, LeBron didn't shoot well, AD didn't shoot well, and the Lakers once again proved they have no defense. Now, LeBron said, no, there's no rivalry with the Clippers. He may be right, but in the wrong way. Things change so quickly. And in the NBA, it's crazy. I mean, the Cavaliers went from being the worst team to being the best team to being the worst team. I mean, no, I'm serious.
Yeah.
65 wins, the 10, the 15, the 60, back to 15 again.
You know who should be the coach of the Cavaliers? Not
Who?
Beeline. James Doohan. We ain't got the power again. We ain't got the power. It's like, how
It's a
can it
pity
be?
he's dead.
Well, they shot him into space, and which I wish they would have done with Michael Jordan in Space Jam. Shot him up into space. The thing I can't figure out is how it's really good for the game to have these 5-year periods where teams become mini dynasties and then go from being dynasty team to being El Succamundo. And how do you keep the fan interest in these cities? How do you do it? I mean, in these in-between periods, how do you do it? And it's a mystery to me. I mean, what are fans supposed to be watching in Cleveland this year?
Lake Erie freeze.
The Canton Charge? Canton Charge, maybe? They might be decent.
In their first game, it was considered a moral victory. They only lost by 9. But did you see them? They couldn't hit the broadside of a barn.
Yeah, that score looked a lot worse than what actually the game was. They were just backing up shots. They were playing to lose, basically. Like, let's just let the clock run out.
That there's no offense being run, and the guys are not good shooters. I mean, you don't have any dead-eye shooters on the team.
Even Darius Garland didn't look that good either. I mean, I know he's a rookie, but still,
Okay, we're going to take a bet for Mr. Fergus here. We're going to come up with a number. How many penalties will the Browns have? Let's start with. We'll start with Jake.
9 penalties for 121 yards.
So you're getting biggies. We're going to get the biggies.
Yeah.
I'm going to write that down.
Rick, how many?
I'm going to say 10 for 110. I got to throw in a couple offsides in there for Garrett, no matter how hurt he is.
All right. And Jake, while we're at it, how many will the New England Patriots have, or how many will they get away with if they don't get called for?
How many will New England get? Let's just say that.
Yeah. They will have 5, and that's when they try to back up for punting room.
Is that 5 for 5?
Yeah. And literally, they're just going to take the 5 yards. That's all they're doing. Just take it.
Here goes offsides on. They'll call false start on Brady, and then they'll move the ball 5 yards forward.
No, they'll just get punting room. That's all they're gonna do.
4 for 20 for delay of game.
Brian, how many penalties will the Browns commit?
8 for 95 yards.
Well, we're all pretty much on the same page here. All right. And how many? All right. And
for New England, he didn't get New England.
Oh yeah, New England.
I'll say 7 for 45 yards.
All right, my turn. I got. I'm gonna go. The Cleveland Browns will get. I'm gonna say 15 for 150. I gotta be a little juicy. I'm going high here, okay?
Apparently, he thinks we're in mid-season form.
And for the Patriots, I'll give them 2 for 10 on a false start.
All right. For me, I think it's going to be more a matter of how many first downs that the penalties will wipe out for the Browns or big plays. And my feeling is the Browns aren't going to score that many points anyway because nobody has against them. Not that New England's played a tough schedule up to this point, but still, I say they're going to be 3 plays of over 20 yards for the Browns that will all come back.
Okay.
All right. So that will be the greatest sign for me that the officials are up to their, it may not be as big a number in the end, but the ones they call, they'll make sure that they eliminate any chance of the team feeling better about itself.
To move ahead, who do you got for the Browns? How many for how many yards?
Oh, penalties. I'm going to say 7 for
Okay.
7 for 80 yards, something
Okay.
like that. But it's going to be, they're going to be, as Archie Bunker would say, churse. They're going to be choice, man. They're going to be absolutely picked out for. And oh, I'm sorry, Madonna Piranha, you have your own opinion.
Ooh, Roxanne, 115. I'll write hers down too. I'm writing everyone's down. Is that for the Browns, Roxanne?
That's for the Browns.
And what about for the Pats?
I'm going to say 5 for 65.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. All right. Well. So, one thing I wanted to mention before we we have to pick the final score of the game. I can't.
God.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Yeah, I guess we have to do this. We'll start with
Oh, no.
Steven.
All right,
Steven,
why not? I'm gonna go with let's see, let me go here. I went real high on the penalty yardage, so that may be a high score for one team and low for the other. So I'm gonna go Patriots 45, Browns 17.
All right. You've earned the right, Roxanne, to go next.
I'm going to go with 32 for the Browns. For the Patriots, let's go 20. I'm saying the Browns are going to win.
What?
Yeah,
32 to what?
32 to 20.
Pictures to be out permanently after that score.
Jake?
I put it in the chat 37-13, Pats.
Okay.
They'll score a little more than the Jets could.
Rick Meister?
Patriots 34 to 10.
And Brian?
I have the same score for the Patriots as Rick, but I have 23 points. I think the Browns are actually going to be the first team to score over 20 points on the Patriots in a losing cause.
So you're saying 34 to what?
23.
All right, and I'm picking 31 to 13 as the Patriots have only given up 2 touchdowns this year. So the Browns will get 2 field goals, 1 touchdown, and a partridge in a pear tree. That's all.
Yeah, I just don't think that they're going to take the Browns seriously, and they're going to give up some unusual points for them.
I don't know with Belichick.
Yeah. So yeah.
I hope you're right, though.
Yeah.
I want to watch a decent game for a little bit.
Gosh, you actually listened to Roxanne, Ron?
Surprise.
Okay.
Is there anybody else in the comment section? I don't think anybody else
Kawaki,
did. Ron Shane didn't.
Kawaki had 27-6 Patriots.
Yeah, I had him up there too. So
Okay, I'll add his.
now the final. This is something I don't understand, and only the Jets. Okay. First of all, I'm seeing ghosts. All right, that is as bad as Tim Couch laying on the ground and crying, okay? It's over, folks. Sam Darnold is lost, playing with a bad team, and this is the guy who said, when we get our tight end back, we're going to be gangbusters. That's the first thing. They're angry that it got mic'd up and put on the air. I would be far more concerned that my quarterback is speaking that way. I'm seeing ghosts.
Yeah.
Like fucking Whoopi Goldberg.
Well, thank God the Browns didn't draft him.
Then we have Osemele's issue. The organization said when Osemele didn't show up Friday, he's a guard for the Jets, to the team facility, it was deemed an unexcused absence. However, he was having surgery in Boston to repair a torn labrum in his right shoulder, according to his agent. But the procedure was not authorized by the Jets,
Ouch.
who have listed Osemele as doubtful for Sunday's game. I mean, what the fuck? Now,
Hedging their bets there, huh?
Now, Osemele did say that the Wednesday that he was planning to have it, whether or not he received team authorization or not. But they are continuing to fine him for conduct detrimental to the team, $579,000 per week. Adam Gase refused to comment. No one from the organization has commented. The two sides agree that he has a torn labrum in his shoulder, but they disagreed on when he should have the surgery. The Jets believe... Go ahead.
Of course they did. These fucking assholes don't give a shit, you know? They'll keep throwing them out there with one arm, and when it falls off on the field, oh, well, I guess now we have to replace him.
The Jets believed he could play through the injury, but Osemele said he was in too much pain and needed immediate surgery. Now he's saying that he needed surgery not only to repair a posterior inferior labral tear, but to remove a large cyst. The doctor, Glenn Ross, who performed this arthroscopy, was quoted as saying, "Come on, baby, remove that cyst. You should see his little cyst." I'm sorry. It was a weak,
They
chubby
could put it in a
checker.
jar and FedEx it back to the fucking Jets headquarters in New Jersey.
You know, he was taking Toradol injections prescribed by the team to play through the pain. He was injured during a training camp practice, for God's sake, started the first 3 games. He basically, I mean, let's be honest about it, after 3 games and then witnessing Sam Darnold, exactly. That's the end of that. And, you know, he figures rather than taking Toradol nonstop, I'll just get the surgery. And the team wanted to keep on injecting him. And you wonder what's wrong with the NFL, folks. I mean,
Any given Sunday.
How can you agree that a guy has got a torn labrum in his shoulder and say, nah, doesn't need surgery? I mean, I remember we went through this with Isaiah Thomas, you know? The Celtics and his hip and that he had torn cartilage in his hip. And I was telling everybody it required surgery. You have to have surgery. And he said, no, I'm not going to have surgery. And he never played. And he would never play. And he finally did have the surgery. And he still can't play. Fuck him. But
is he even still in the league?
Oh, he's somewhere in the league. But in one of those...
Denver, I thought.
Amongst the minions of teams that don't mean a goddamn thing. That's who he plays for. If you're a Cavaliers
he's
fan,
in Utah.
he's in Utah, yeah. If you're, and by the way, the Celtics lost, 107-93. They got beaten by the 76ers. And And Gordon Hayward had his explosive 25-point game. Uh-huh. That's another team that is like, and Brad Stevens is like, well, how fortunes change, Things are not all right. You can't lose talent in the bunches that teams lose talent. I mean, they all got off. They all got off the bus, man. It was like, well, we had so many years to make the finals. We never did. We're leaving. Bye. And now
they also paid what's his name, Jaylen Brown, 100 or like 117 million or something. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like $29 million a year.
That was weird. Did you get a little circling thing on your screen?
We
No,
got
but you were
you
frozen.
awkwardly to your left.
You were frozen.
Yeah, you froze for a while.
Jeez. Well, it will definitely be reported.
You were deeply contemplating Jake's response.
Yes, yes.
And Dennis Charpentier is saying heavy rain in the forecast. Is it Charpentier? Because it would be Charpentier. And Dennis is spelled in
Yeah,
a
I think
French
it's
fashion.
Denis.
Denis. Oh.
Denis Charpentier.
Oh, I would like a baguette, Denis. Oh, I bet you have a baguette in your trousers, no? Rox is like, I could
More
knock
like this.
down some of that. Yeah, I'm sorry I froze.
How good are you at recorking your wine, Denis?
So at any rate, 31-13, the Browns will lose, and teams are not going to be very good in the NBA except for a few, like always.
Yeah.
And players have no rights. They can't kneel on the field, and now they can't get surgery without being fined $500,000 a week.
Wow.
So I guess that's where we're at.
And then after
Go ahead.
10 games, Mr. Moohead, we'll already know all the teams that are going to make the playoffs anyway in the NBA. So.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's pretty obvious now anyway. So I'll be back. I'll be back again Sunday at, halftime of the Browns-Patriots game to sit there and just kind of ponder it with you. And then you'll join me for the post-game show so we can kind of, look at each other and said, well, that escalated quickly.
Well, that happened.
Wow, we should have the same number of touchdowns as Landry still.
And don't worry, if there's heavy rain in the forecast, what they will do is they will put a little pagoda on the part of the field that the Patriots are kicking from the field goal to win the kicking field goal.
Well, they put a 12th man out holding an umbrella over Brady.
And then the league will come out next year with the pagoda rule.
Yep.
But too
Like back
late
in the-
to affect the Patriots.
Like back in the day when they cleared the field for the kick against the Raiders.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was my reference. And the guy who cleared the field was an ex-convict. Did you know that?
Yes.
Was it Tim Donaghy?
Yeah, he would have
Tim
bet on the
Donaghy would have
game
been like
too.
9. So, no.
Who knew he was moonlighting?
All right, everybody, that's it for this edition of Moohead Radio. Thanks a lot for tuning in. We'll be back on Sunday, halftime and postgame, and see what in the hell happens next. Thanks to the panel. Have a good weekend, everybody. And until Sunday, hasta la vista, Pastor Heads.
And
Good
don't
night.
mind Moo, it's just the pain talking.
That's right.